hairstylists visualize themselves as working in a beauty salon doing beautiful people's hair. Noella Charest-Papagno had a different thought many years ago. She feels if you fix someone's hair while they're living, why not fix their hair after death? Noella said that the most startling thing that ever happened to her when she was bending down to pick up a comb that dropped on the floor, she felt a hand touch her shoulder. Most stylists are used to getting tapped on the shoulder by their customers and talked to, and Noella didn't give it a second thought. She just put the corpse's hand back on the table and said, "Excuse me." Noella has been doing this type of hairdressing for 30 years, actually since her teen, about the subject and invented a new word. Jesse Briggs asked her about that word.
Noella, I'd like to ask you a question that probably all the hairdressers in the world would want to ask you personally if they had the great opportunity of meeting you like I have here today. The question is your book, is it for funeral directors or for hairdressers, or did you just write it for yourself?
In a way, it's for both professions. They need to be, to know just how, like the funeral directors need to know how to prepare the hair for the hairdresser. If she decides to style the hair, we'll say, for her decedent customer. Now, well, I'm not talking about the hairdresser that goes in all the time like I do. If she chooses to do the hair of her clientele and she knows how to do the hair, she's always washed that hair perfectly clean and all, she expects to find that hair like she knows it to be. The funeral directors, in the pre-embalming treatments, they wash the hair and the body with disinfectant soap. Many times they leave it that way.
The question I asked you, was it the book designed to be sold and distributed to funeral directors or
yes.
hairdressers? And you said both, did you not? You said both.
Yes.
All right. Now, I'd like to lead in another question on that. For cosmetologists viewing this program, how will you advise them to get into this particular field? Is that written in your book? I believe I saw something of that.
5 guidelines how to, they phone the funeral director in the city, and if they need a hairdresser, fine, and if the price is right.
Oh, price. Let me ask you
yes.
that. What do you charge, or what do you recommend, or what is a going fee for hairdressers going to the funeral home and doing the hair for the deceased?
Well, when I started many years ago, I used to charge $5. And in those days, in the 40s, $5 was pretty good. It was across the street, and it was nothing. And I enjoyed doing it. To me, it was an honor to just, it's a privilege. And so later, now the past few years, I charged $10, then I've gone up to $15 and $20. Of course, if they have the hair, the tints.
The tints are extra, or any service of that?
The tints are extra, and the bleaching, if the hairdressers want to do it, because then they can use, well, I explain it in the book. And, but there are hairdressers that are charged, like we'll say in a big city, I don't know how to mention it, big city. Funeral directors have told me that there are hairdressers that charge $75 to $100. They apply the cosmetics and they style the hair, and they now, for the past few years, funeral directors, they don't know. It's such a hassle for them all these years when it comes for the woman. When the men die, they have no problem. It's the other half.
Very interesting, I must say. I know the people that's listening to this interview, some would admire you, some would wonder that...
Well, the reason why I charge this is because I was explaining to you about the ladies that charge that much. Now, all states usually follow whenever one state comes up with a rule at the board, the registration board of funeral service. They have decided that when someone applies the cosmetic, that is part of the funeral procedures. That applying the cosmetic. Now, if a hairdresser chooses to apply the cosmetic, this state insists that she becomes a funeral director. Dear professionals, for over 30 years, one of my greatest rewards as a hairstylist has been my work for funeral homes. I would like to share that experience with you. For 3 years, hairstyling for decedent has been in the making. The story of techniques touching all phases of hairstyling for a decedent needs telling. This manual of Desairology describes these techniques in detail. Understanding your needs in this field and catering to them is what this book is all about. Thank you.